special request. That was Third Rate Romance by the Amazing Rhythm Aces first in 1975, and then it was redone by a number of people, in particular Sammy Kershaw in 1994. And that's the version I'm doing because it's in B flat. The original version was in A, and for that you just transpose down 1/2 step. Now, or one fret, if you will. Now this is a cool solo because it's really simple, and it's pretty easy to play once you get the hang of it. And it's also really useful to be able to play in this style, to improvise the songs like, for example, Margaritaville or things like that. So let's check it out note for note as we do. And I do have the tab for this one, so if you want it, just ask. All right, let's check it out note for note first. Here it comes. All right, gang, well, let's go over this note for note. Before we do, let's talk just a little bit about double stops. Now, this song is in B flat, and there's only 2 chords, B flat and F, okay? And so it's in B, the song is in B flat. Now, what are double stops? Well, here's a typical double stop line. This one is double stops on the first 2 strings, 2 and 1. Yeah, this song has tons of double stops. So double stops are 2-note chords that are played on adjacent strings, in this case the second and the first. Usually the lower of the 2 strings has a fretted note that's a little bit above, and people either play laterally on the guitar when you're playing those lines, either up or down. So you can go up, or you can go down. All right, on it. And you'll hear it a lot in Mexican music. You hear it a lot in island music. I say Mexican country music when it has a Mexican flavor, I should say. And of course, you hear it a lot in the Eagles. All right, well, let's tackle the solo itself, and we'll learn lots of double stops as we're doing it. Okay, so here's the first line. Okay, typical double stop line, pretty nice sounding. So it just kind of walks down the scale. So let's go through it. So the first one starts out with the first string. This is all on the first 2 strings. So you're playing the first string, the 13th, and the second string, the 15th. Now, what's hard about double stops are 2 things. One is, when you slide, you want to make them seamless. And the second thing is, that's hard, this is probably the hardest, is when you're playing, you only want to hit those 2 strings. So here we're only getting the first 2 strings. Okay? So you thwack that a few times, and then you slide down to the next double stop, which is on the 11th and the 13th. And of course, then you thwack that a few times and slide down to the next double stop, which is this one right here on the 10th and the 11th. Okay? Now here's the last part of that line. Okay, so that one starts out on the 8th and 10th. Slide down to the 6th and 8th. 5th and 6th. 4th and 5th. And this one's a little bit dissonant, but it's kind of typical to do a little chromatic maneuver. End up on the 3rd and the 4th. Here's the whole line slowly, okay? All right. Now we're going to play some licks that are mostly on the 3rd and the 4th. So here's the next one that we're going to play. Okay, so the first one is this. All right, so this is also a double stop. You're playing on the 2nd and 3rd strings, and you're playing on the 10th and the 10th. Okay, so 10th fret on the 3rd, 10th fret on the 2nd. And you're sliding up to this double stop, which is on the 2nd, you're playing the 13th, and on the 3rd, you're playing the 14th, like this. All right, now, the hard part of that one is as you slide, you've got to very quickly hammer onto the, or bring your sliding hand onto that, from the 10th onto that 11th on the 3rd string. So, right, and make a nice confident slide. All right, now this lick is on the first 2 strings, almost on the first 2 strings. So you're playing a double stop on the 13th and 13th, playing that 14th again on the 3rd, and then you're playing the 13th and 13th, and you're hammering onto the 15th. And then you're playing your double stop here on the 2nd and 3rd with the 13th and the 14th, sliding that down to the 10th and 10th. All right, so here it is again. Hard to execute quickly, but worth it when you practice, get confident. All right, here it is one more time. So you play that twice, and then you're up to this one. So you play the same slide that we've been playing before. So 10, 10, and you slide up to 13 and 14. This one happens to be then the same pattern, but we're playing the 16th and the 17th. And then you're aiming for this little B flat chord, which is on the 2nd and 3rd again. You're playing the 15th and 15th, but I slide up to that from a 1 note below. So 14, 14, just slide that up. So sounds like this. One more time slowly. Oops. All right. The last part is, you can play this a number of different ways. I'm going to play it pretty simply. Think about this B flat right here. Normal B flat bar. We're playing a double stop. We're going to play a double stop on the 3rd and 4th, just to learn that one. Okay, so we're playing. So that one is sliding up to, on the 4th, you're going to play the 8th, and on the 4th, you're going to play the 8th, and on the 3rd, you're going to play the 7th. Now, this one is not a double stop. You're going to play a 6th. So a 6th skips a string. Now you're going to play this one right here. So slide up to the 7th on the 3rd and play the 1st on the 6th, which is a B. Now I happen to play it by plucking with my middle finger, and I play with a pick on the 3rd string, like so. All right, and the last one just slides up to this one, which is the 10th and 10th. Again, 3rd and 1st. And that's also a very typical run. And that's it, gang. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Nice, simple double stop solo. And if you want the tab, remember, email me, and we'll see you on down the road.